There's more from Del and Rodney on BBC One in 2 weeks' time, and there's a selection of classic episodes of Only Fools and Horses available now on BBC Video.
Good Friday Entertainment on BBC One. At 6:20, the enchanting story of Mrs. Tiggywinkle and Mr. Jeremy Fisher in a classic Beatrix Potter tale.
E.T. home phone.
E.T. phone home. E.T. phone home.
At 6:50, an alien, flying bikes and the ultimate long-distance phone call. It could only be E.T. At 9, a water spirit and a murder provides Inspector Allen with an unusual case.
What is it? A mystery.
That's Good Friday's Entertainment on BBC One.
Now on BBC One, the only programme that gives you an amazing figure.
Five, 8, 6, 1, 0, 0, 7, 9, 9, 9, 6, 9, 6, 9, 6, 2, 3.
Here we are at the 1993 World Memory Championships. Inside, the great faces of memory are already locked in mental combat. The concentration is intense. The prizes, unbelievable. What's at stake is a place in the history books. Right now, they're involved in one of memory's greatest challenges, the spoken number event.
6, 1. The spoken number event is actually the hardest event when you think that numbers are coming out and there are 100 numbers and they have to remember them perfectly. It's unbelievably difficult. The world record is 83, and today we might see that approached or even broken.
And the contestants include Tom Morton, who has memorized the entire Blackpool telephone directory; Philip Bond, 29-year-old banker from the City of London with an extraordinary head for numbers; World Women's Champion, Sunbury-on-Thames Natasha Diot; and the reigning world champion, Dominic O'Brien.
6, 1.
This is different from most world championships.
9.
All the contestants are British.
The reason why there is such a strong tradition in England is that we have for years focused on memory. We've had amazing performers. For example, Leslie Welsh, the memory man for sports. And you may have heard of Chan Canasta. He was a really remarkable man.
Chan Canasta. Chan Canasta. The name rings a bell.
And the first experiment, I used to term it an experiment memory, in memory, done with 52 playing cards, minus jokers. So starting with you, ma'am, please hold them higher so I cannot peek, see? I think you've got the following cards in your hand. Are you ready? Here we go. The 6 of hearts.
Yes.
The 8 of clubs.
Yes.
Jack of spades.
Yes.
3 of hearts.
Yes.
King of diamonds.
Yes.
10 of spades.
Yes.
And the 2 of clubs.
Yes.
Thank you.
8, 6.
How can they even try to remember a 100-digit number?
3.
It looks a lot more clever than it is, though. The only reason memory performers appear so impressive is that they spend time remembering things no one else is the least bit interested in. What's most extraordinary about them is their low boredom threshold. Who in their right mind would bother to learn 100-digit numbers? When we're interested, however, there's almost no limit to what we can take in.
Motivation is very important. Thousands and millions of people, in fact, are memorizing Quran. And day by day you hear people have memorized, and children have memorized the Quran. everyone who has interest, or if you have eagerness, then you can do it.
Good morning, Mr. Yield. This is the Indian Railway representative in the UK. Can I help you? I'm a railway ticketing agent for the Indian Railways, and the approximate amount of information that I hold in my memory is approximately about 1,200 train timings. There are 2 trains which go overnight, and the other one... A good memory is good for business. You don't win a trophy for it, but...
Basically, I found competing easier than I was expecting it, because I'd chose subjects that I was interested in, and so it became a joy to revise them.
And your chosen specialised subject?
Doctor Who.
Gavin Fuller, you have 2 minutes on the BBC television series Doctor Who, starting... Now, the Doctor's travelling machine is called a TARDIS. What's that an acronym of?
Time and Relative Dimensions in Space.
Correct. The first Doctor Who
you get into such a orgy of concentration, so to speak. It's very hard to actually describe what was going on in there. It just all seemed to just come out and click.
Now, which London football club is nicknamed the Gunners?
The Gunners is the nickname of Arsenal, and Arsenal is my favourite team. I must have about hundreds of Arsenal results in my head, just hundreds. They just come up in my head like it's just on the screen.
2.
I just remember them
2.
like that.
9. 8. 1.
Well, to many people it might seem very irrational to memorise the contents of a telephone directory or learn thousands of numbers, but if you substitute the numbers for pictures, it is an incredible experience of emotion and mnemonics. It's like a little television screen.
2.
Let's take the number 10, which is an obvious one. I associate 10 with Dudley Moore, because he's in the film 10, and he's always playing the piano. The number 45 I associate with a friend of mine called Terry, because he lives at number 45. He's a golfer. So if we had the number 1045, it would be Dudley Moore playing golf. And you can build up a whole sequence of numbers that way. I believe anybody could memorize a long number. It's all down to 2 things: using the right memory system and a bit of practice.
0.
They always say that, don't they? 8. Can you remember a 100-digit number? I can't remember 4 digits. Oh. The only reason you don't get it right is that you don't really make an effort. But it seems more work than it's worth. I have to remember an image for every number up to 100. I'm trying to make this easier, not more difficult. You don't have to remember new images. You won't be able to think of a single number you don't already have an association for. What about 88? That's the number of keys on a piano. 47 then? Think of the 4th day of the 7th month. July 4th. Think of the 4th of July. 49. The 49ers football team and the year of the gold rush. 39. 39 Steps, the Hitchcock film. If you think long enough and hard enough, you'll always be able to come up with some kind of association. And now the moment of truth. Can they really remember those numbers?
I think it's going to be Natasha. I'd like Natasha to win.
Well, I'm here to support my son Kenneth, but in all honesty, I can't see anyone touching Dominic O'Brien.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 3rd place, with 23 perfectly memorized, Ken Wilshire.
23? What's 23? No. The number of people on a soccer pitch, including the referee.
In 2nd place, with 35 perfectly memorized, Jonathan
35.
Hancock.
That should be easy. 35. It's just short of 3 dozen.
And in 1st place, with a new world record that smashes the previous one, Dominic O'Brien with 100 correct.
What happened in 1935? What happened? Nothing.
Score. Dominic, congratulations.
I'm sorry, did you hear who won? Does anyone know what the name of the... Did you...
1994 boat race, Tension on the Thames, live in Grandstand tomorrow, 11:45 on BBC One.
The crew of the Red Dwarf have got a computer trouble as Holly throws a hoolie in a moment on BBC Two.
Not everyone can make it big,
A smidgen of chorus work in New York just isn't going to cut it here.
but everyone can make it.
You won't be doing any show because you'll look ridiculous.
I'll choreograph my people in my own way.
A network premiere, Liza Minnelli,
We go out there and then show them what we can do.
Julie Walters,
We understand.
Shelley Winters,
You want to start something or what?
stepping out in half an hour.